Namaste and welcome. I'm Julie Hill. I'm with Yoga Body. And I help people eliminate pain and get back into doing the activities that they love. I'm a yoga therapist, a personal trainer, and a Reiki energy healer. And I love working in the world of movement, helping people let go of compensatory movement patterns and just find more ease and efficiency in their movement. Today we're going to look at some simple movements, ones that you're probably familiar with, and kind of play around with how your body is moving through them. So, as always, do what's right for you. If you need to adjust, to add a blanket, or modify something, please feel free to do that. So all you're going to need for today is a block, a yoga block, if you have one. Great. If you don't, finding like a shoe box or some kind of light box, maybe you got something in the mail that's roughly this size, maybe a little longer is fine, that'll give you some feedback. So go ahead and get that now, and then when you're ready, we'll get started with this video again. So we're going to start out moving through cat and cow. So I'm going to come onto my hands and knees, and you can add a blanket under your knees if you need to. And you can either put palms directly on the mat, or you can make fists for wrists if that's a little better on your wrists. But we're going to start out just moving through an easy cat and cow movement. So taking a breath in, letting the belly kind of come down towards the floor, letting the chest expand, and then exhaling, letting the spine roll up towards the ceiling, and then coming back into your breath. So just allowing yourself to kind of move through these two positions and feeling all of the space in between. And then notice as you move, if perhaps your elbows want to turn and kind of face a different direction, or if you can keep just a softness in the elbows. And then we're just going to play with taking the head and the neck out of the equation. So instead of letting your head lower and letting your neck come down and then lifting it up, I'm going to have you kind of keep the head steady. So just kind of coming into cat here, and then allowing yourself to come into cow. And notice how much your neck wants to shift as you do both. But just see if you can allow yourself just to find that movement in that mid-back, the thoracic area, without the neck and head getting involved in it. And then from there, let's go ahead and take out the movement in the pelvis. So keeping that steady as well. Instead of having it kind of tilt one way and then have the tailbone tilt down, think of keeping it even and just allowing yourself to feel movement through that mid-back. Just allowing it to slowly shift one vertebra at a time. Coming into flexion and extension. And close your eyes and allow yourself just to feel this movement. Maybe you can get a sense of the shoulder blades moving across the back of the ribs a little bit, shifting there. Or maybe for you it just feels like they lift and lower. So try and notice if you can get some arching in the spine there. Good. And then you can come back to just doing a couple of regular cat and cows. And just kind of notice how hard was that for you without tilting the pelvis or moving through the neck. Just gaining more information about what really likes to move, what's the areas in the spine that can easily come into flexion and extension, and the other areas that have a little more congestion and a little more rigidness. And then from there, we're going to go ahead and move into spinal balance. And this is where you use that block. So we're going to go ahead and I'll turn this way because we might add the wall. So if you have a place with a wall, you can try this later, or if you have it available now, great. You're going to come back onto hands and knees here. And we're going to go ahead and set up the block on top of the back of the sacrum. So across the back of the hips, kind of towards the top, but not on your lower back, more on the back of the pelvis there. And so the idea is that the block will just give you feedback. You can set that box flat, or you can set it a little higher to get a little more feedback there. We want to keep the hips really even as we just extend through the leg. So we'll start here by feeling the pelvis really level, and then we're slowly just going to lift that leg up and extend it back. And I'm going to have to scooch up a little bit here. So from there, you're going to go ahead and lift that leg and then just extend it back. Notice if this hip wants to lift up towards the ceiling. Maybe you lift so much that block starts to get wobbly and fall off. Or if you can keep it nice and level. And then if you have a wall behind you, you can go ahead and let that foot really connect into the wall. Feeling the energy from the leg into the wall. Feeling the block nice and level there. And then we'll slowly start to allow that knee to bend and draw it in just towards the waist. And then back out. Keeping it in a nice even plane rather than having it cross over the body. And then notice again how even this lower back is staying. It's not really coming into any flexion or extension which would cause the block to fall, but it's just letting it stay even here. You can move through that on the same side a little bit more. You could even add the opposite hand, so bringing that leg back, connecting to a wall for a moment, and then adding that opposite arm out, and then drawing both in. Keeping the back nice and long and stable. And then just feeling the hips and stay level. And then when you're ready, going to the other side, taking a breath in between perhaps, and then starting to extend that other leg. And then just kind of get feedback from the block on this side. Does the hip want to lift up towards the ceiling, or maybe it wants to dip down towards the floor? So let that block stay on the back of the hips rather than the lower back. And then you can just start to move it here, letting it come in and back out, keeping the pelvis really level, building that stability in the pelvis through the core to the shoulders while you move the limbs. You can add the arm at any time. And the elbow and knee don't need to touch. We're just drawing them in towards the waist and sending them back out, letting that foot connect to the wall, and then back again. Good. And then just gaining that feedback. So as you can see, we kind of went through different steps, adding a little more as we went, but just the whole idea is for you to gain more information about kind of what is going on in your body. Does your pelvis want to be unstable as the leg extends, as you add that arm? Just good information for you to know, and a great place to start. Starting with just the leg and then adding the arm as needed. Here's to a healthier and happier you. Namaste.